It's time for Recipe of the Day. Yesterday, I told you about my new obsession, avocado cottage cheese toast, and I am kind of in an avocado mood still. And so today I have another avocado recipe for you. This one is for avocado soup. So this is a Colombian-inspired soup that would be called crema de aguacate, and it's basically just some aromatic sautéed with quite a bit of broth, a little lime juice, avocados, very light on the seasonings, and then some garnishes. It's pureed together, and the avocados make it creamy, and then there's some cream added to it at the end. So it is like very similar to creamed soups you might be more familiar with, but the vegetable or fruit in this case that is being creamed is the avocado. And it's just really luscious and creamy, mild, but nice flavor. Okay, how do you make this cream of avocado soup? We're going to start by heating a tablespoon of olive oil in a large saucepan over medium heat. Then you add 1 small onion chopped up and cook it just until translucent, just a couple minutes. Then a clove of garlic minced goes in just for 30 seconds. I actually often put 2 cloves, up to you. And you also at this point can put in some chopped jalapeno. That is traditional. I skipped it in my version because I make this for my kids. They really like it and they don't like the spiciness, but you can absolutely go in with a spicy pepper sauteed in there as well. And then you're adding 4 cups of unsalted stock or broth. I like to use the low sodium just so that I have more control over the salt. And you can do here either a vegetable broth or stock or a chicken broth or stock. Any of those is good. And the recipe calls for 4 cups. I know I've told you this before. I try whenever I can when I'm developing these recipes to call for things that like use the full amount. So 4 cups is pretty much equivalent to a 32-ounce box of stock or broth. So you get one of those boxes and you can do that. You can instead use bouillon, like if you have like the paste, better than bouillon. Or if you have bouillon cubes, whatever you usually use to make up a quick broth when you need one, you're just going to want 4 cups of liquid and then as much of your bouillon of choice as you need to make that taste good. I will say if you're using some kind of bouillon, they tend to be saltier than the unsalted stock that I called for. And so you might want to omit the salt from the recipe and then just wait and see how it tastes at the end. Okay, that broth is going in with 2 teaspoons of lime juice and 2 ripe avocados that you've peeled, cored, and mashed up a little bit. Now, it's interesting that the lime juice is going on early in the recipe. Quite often we add citrus towards the end, but I've noticed this in several of the Colombian recipes that I've seen for this, and I suspect that it is to help stop the avocados from turning brown in the soup, keep them that color. It actually reminds me a little bit of what I'm making borscht, beet borscht. Vinegar is often added before you add the beets, and that helps with their color as well. So I think it's probably similar to that. Along with that broth, lime juice, and avocados, you're also going in with half a teaspoon of salt and a 1/4 teaspoon of cumin. Give it a stir, increase the heat to high, and bring it up to a boil, stirring every now and then. Then reduce it down to a simmer and cook for about 5 minutes. Next, we're going to puree that soup. You can use an immersion blender, or if you don't have one, you can transfer some into a regular blender or food processor, puree it, and then transfer that to a bowl, and then put the stuff from the pot into the blender as well and puree that. And then once all of your soup is pureed, it goes back into the pot, and then we're adding some cream. Now I've done half and half here, a pint of half and half, because I didn't want to put the full fat cream in my version, but you can do full fat cream if you want to. And then it's ready to serve. You ladle it into bowls, and then you can garnish it with cilantro, green onion, more chopped avocado. It is going to be so creamy, delicious. It's really luscious and addictive. I know you're going to love this one. I will put the link to this recipe in the show notes for this podcast episode, or you can head to cookthestory.com/ROTD and get it there. Everything there is arranged by date, so it's helpful to know that today is June 24th of 2025. And since I was talking about soup just a moment ago, I want to tell you about a sponsor that I am working with on this show, and that is Super Cubes. They make freezing and reheating your favorite foods easy with stackable single meal freezer food trays. They are silver silicone and perfectly portioned. So for something like this, if you make a batch of avocado soup or any kind of soup, you can then put it into these little portion containers. They freeze as cubes, pop them out, put them into freezer bags. It is perfect. I love these. I will put the link to the super cubes on Amazon in the show notes for this podcast episode, but don't just go to Amazon and search for them. Use my link because that lets super cubes know that I sent you. I really can't wait for you to try these. They are life-changing when it comes to freezing. You will love them. I'm Christine Pittman from cookthestory.com, thecookful.com, the all-new chicken cookbook, and from this podcast, Recipe of the Day. I hope you have a great day. Let's get cooking.